Welcome to Chordially Invited.
My name is Renzy-Martin.
I am your host, Lily Kay.
I have been a voice actor predominantly in games for the last 5 or so years. I've been in Baldur's Gate 3, Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. I'm in the upcoming Blood of Dawnwalker, which is coming out in September, which I'm very excited about.
I beg of you.
Lots and lots of small parts in other games. You've probably killed me lots.
All right. Hello, Will. Welcome to Cordially Invited.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Checked your IMDb. Obviously, I went through of like, what have you been up to and what have you been doing? How did games come to play for you? Like, was it always something you planned of like, I want to work in the game industry, or was it just completely random?
I think if I'd... from a young age, I always knew that I wanted to do something with my voice, whether that was singing or acting or something like that. I think I played a lot of games when I was younger as well. I think if I'd realised that it was actually a job that you could voice act in games, before I was in my mid-20s, I probably would have wanted to do it all my life. But it just, somehow the two things didn't click in my brain until a bit later. And after I'd already kind of started doing voice acting work and realised, oh, hang on, that's a branch that it aligns with all the things I loved doing as a kid, and I hope that I'm good at it. So, yeah.
So you just went for it. You were like, let's try this out, which is the best way
exactly.
of doing it.
And then I started, trying to knock on doors and get in the room. Yeah.
And how difficult did you find it to actually get in the room and to be able to do this?
At the beginning, I found it quite difficult. I think for good reason, that a lot of the companies who are doing audio production for games really care about the fact that that their audio is good, that they get good actors, and so the kind of, it's not saying that they do kind of vetting like this, but like the number of checks you have to pass. Kind of, we trust that you've done work before, we can see that you've done this and that, and these people recommend you. It takes a while to build up that trust that you're going to be good at the job. And so, yeah, it took a bit of time and a bit of effort and a bit of carefully positioning myself in the right rooms in order to get myself in front of the right people. But once I had kind of crossed the threshold, everything became much easier just to, move from one room to the next or try and convince other people that, yes, I can do the thing, and you can see because I've done it here. And,
what I always keep hearing from actors who mainly work with their voice, that it doesn't matter how you look like, which is very good.
Fantastic. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it's a massive benefit because I sound like an old man, and I know I'm greying now, but genuinely in the kind of face acting side of things, my voice doesn't quite match what you expect from someone of my age. So to be able to go into a booth and to be honest, play either way for me was definitely a benefit for me. Yeah.
I don't know if you sound like an old man. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I think the depth of my voice is surprising in general for people sometimes.
I would agree with that. I wasn't thinking old man as I was listening to you. That's for sure. It's a bit out there, but yeah. I know what you mean. I always think when I listen back, because I have to edit these things, and then I hear myself and I'm like, oh my God, what is this voice? You hear something completely different in your head, I think. Like for me, I hear a deep voice when I talk, and then I listen back and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
How does that work? Explain, science, explain. But anyway, so you got into the gaming industry and you started your journey. But I have to ask, because I'm always very interested. You said that you were a gamer anyway. What was your favorite game?
My favorite game is Majora's Mask. I played it on the Nintendo 64 when I must have been 8 or 9, and we kept that Nintendo 64 around for a really long time until I think eventually I bundled it up with all the games and sold it and bought a Nintendo DS to replace it with. But I think I regretted losing that golden Majora's Mask cartridge. Yeah, I just loved it, and I loved the kind of weirdness of it, the kind of dark story, the mechanics in general I found fascinating, and then it was something that I could kind of get good at. Like I could, you because it was that cyclical thing of time restarting, and if you messed up a thing once, you could just be okay, right, now I can do it again, and now I know the next time I do that, I need to, do this or do that differently. And I'm
always afraid of those type of games because I don't know if it's true for you, but I'm a major rage quitter. So it massively pisses me off when I keep dying, and I know that there are games that build on this, that you die, you're thrown back to where you started and you have to do it again, and I'm like, no. yeah no I can see the level of frustration you can get with some of those, but it's I think not for me. So I'm like, this is my way of pivoting, because as a massive vampire fan, I always like vampire stories. I kind of want to talk about Blood of the Dawnwalker as much as we can. I know that you are probably under NDAs of how much you can say, but how did you even get involved with the project?
I was particularly lucky. One of the first voice acting gigs I got, voice acting in games gigs that I got, was I played a young Hercule Poirot in a Poirot game, 2 Poirot games. And the casting director and director for that game, Donald Peary, who was my favorite director to work with, and that's not any shade on any other directors I work with, but like whenever we're together working in a room, we just have a language that works really well. And he did the casting and directing for Dawnwalker. So when that came up, he already knew me, and so asked me to audition through my agent, and that's how I auditioned. I did a recall. I went up to Glasgow to their recording studio, and managed to get the job. So yeah.
And what did you think about the story? Like, I know that there's a tendency that you only get like parts of the script where you're actually in, but like, what did you think when you read this and you were like, oh, interesting, or what was going through your head?
Obviously, yes, most of the time in games you're only getting the script that is your part of it. Playing the main character, I saw most of it.
Yes. Yeah.
So there aren't many bits of dialogue that you're not involved with in some way. And the bits that aren't there are quite easy to fill in the gaps most of the time. I'm just wondering whether I can talk about this particular thing. Yes, I think I can. So I felt the writing was great when I was reading it, and it's hard, obviously, when you don't have the total flow. But it was in my first... one of the earlier sessions we did when we were recording the prologue for the game, and I think I'm allowed to talk about this because I know that it's been spoken about in some other interviews. There's a moment where you have to do what seems like one of the options of things you can do with your time is that you can go and help a local villager find their pig that has gone missing. And reading the first few lines of that quest, it was quite obvious to me, where's the pig? Where did he go? When did he last see him? Easy peasy, normal RPG stuff.
Yeah.
You expect it.
Yeah.
And then there were more lines later that's, you find the pig and you chase after it a bit, and then you eventually catch it and you bring it back. And then the guy says, well, do you want to kill it or should I do it myself? And when that happened, I thought, oh, right, yeah, there's something more interesting going on here. Like, this is not just, fetch me my prize pig. What did I think was going to happen? It's a medieval village, and this man's not keeping this pig for a pet. He's going to eat it. So, yeah, that was the first time I had that feeling, and I had that feeling consistently throughout recording the game. Was well, what did I think? Where did I think this was going? If I thought about this for more than 2 seconds, given all the information I already have,
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought the outcome would be anything else.
I think it's just human nature, isn't it? That we like to see a bit more in things a lot of times.
Yeah, exactly. So it's I would describe the writing as subversive, but not in a kind of gotcha sort of way, but in a kind of like really realistic way. Yeah.
Fair enough. And your character is called Quan, right? If I'm correct. What was your approach to him? Like, based on the script, did you go about it like building up a little bit of a backstory in your head, or were you given all the info that you needed to figure him out, basically?
I mean, I was given most of it as part of the recording process in any particular bit of the script that required a bit more background on anything in particular, that would get filled in. But I suppose the main thing was finding his voice. I always find that finding the voice of the character is quite easy if the script is well written, because it's sort of in there somehow. He was obviously at the start of the game younger, and in the kind of prologue video that went out as the kind of initial reveal trailer, God, was it the beginning of last year?
Probably around that time,
something like that. He's about 16, I think, in that. So I had to cut out a bit more of the bass register in my voice and pitch it up a bit more and be a little bit more pathetic.
She needs help, fast.
In the game itself, he's a little bit older, and so, finding that age of the voice was the first thing. And then from there, filling in the details as it became relevant. Yeah.
Was there anything that genuinely surprised you about the entire game?
Lots of things that genuinely surprised me. Yeah, I'm very excited for people to really delve into this world. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I keep remembering wrong of when it's coming out, and I keep looking for it on PlayStation. I'm like, is it out? And I'm like, oh, God damn it, I forgot it again.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely one of those games. As I gathered, it is choice-based in a lot of moments. And I'm always interested because obviously when a game is choice-based, you have to record different outcomes, different versions of the same conversation, even. How difficult that is as an actor of there's this path of the character, but also the player can change it so much that by the end it can be a completely different character than how you started off.
You're very much reliant on the writing in that situation. The writing and the direction. I do, but I really believe that the writers know exactly what they're doing, and so it's all, most of it, written in. The kind of, we would have a joke that, and again, this is something that's already been revealed, that if you don't drink enough blood as a vampire, you can get the bloodthirst, or I can't remember what exactly it's referred to as, but you can end up killing NPCs who you might not want to, because you just lose control because you're so hungry, and it was always quite funny. We'd get to the end of a series of conversations with one particular character, and they'd be like, oh, and this is what happens if you lose control and you're a bit too hungry. And so they all end with kind of a biting noise or a or a growl or something like that. Yeah.
And how difficult it is? What is more difficult for you as an actor? Coming up with more of an emotional scene, or more of this very confident or very aggressive version of the character?
They both have very different challenges, I think. The emotional stuff, well, both have the challenge, obviously, that you're alone in a box, shouting at the walls. Even with all of the context you can have, sometimes you get miscommunications about, oh, right, sorry, I thought you meant that they were... Or even if you've got a writer on the line, there's a few lines that we had to re-record because I was kind of shouting them in terror, and it turns out that the person was literally right there in front of my face, and they were dying. And so it was, me going, no, don't die! So we just need to redo that line. Find it, I think, easier to do the slightly more heroic or monstrous, sort of bigger stuff. But I do find it more rewarding to really like hammer in on some of the more emotional moments as well. Yeah.
I fully understand that. I get that. When the game comes out, are you going to play it?
I absolutely am going to play it. Yes. I'm almost certainly going to be streaming it as much as I can.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You then have a YouTube channel, I'm guessing, or a Twitch.
Yep, I've got a Twitch and a YouTube channel.
There you go. I'm going to put it in the description so people can most definitely follow you on that journey, because I think it's always fun when the actor is actually in the game is playing it.
Yeah.
It's a different point of view, and that's always nice. What can players look forward to the most when they get their hands on the Blood of Dawnwalker?
None of this will spoil anything, and this is also my opinion. So I don't speak for Rebel Wolves when I say this, but this is my experience of just recording it and the way it's written, and from everything we know from all the kind of reveals that they've done and the stuff they've talked about and how the game works and the consequences and choices. What I hope people come away with when they play this game is a real trust in the writers, and a real trust that and an ability to play games differently, and play games with a less sort of, I don't want to say save scummy, but you know, that you make a choice and you stick to it, and that choice was not right or wrong, it's just the choice that you made, and that the game is going to continue. And all the things around you will, you know, the writing is such and the game world is such that your choice is going to be supported, whatever it was. You might regret your choice, but you're still just going to play the game going forwards and looking forwards and thinking, well, right, what am I going to do now? As opposed to, oh, that was a bad choice. I really wanted that sword. I'm going to go back and reload my save. And I really hope that's what people come away with from the game.
Very interesting and intriguing, because I am the type of person, for example, who I always go for the good. Like, you know, if someone dies, I'm reloading. I'm like, nope, I can't have this. But I feel like you saying that I can't do that. Yeah.
You're very welcome to. But my gut feeling, again, having recorded everything, is that if you have a bit of faith in the writing, that and the writing team and the designers, that they've thought about this, they know what's going on. So even if you make a choice that you think is, like I say, that you regret,
it's the best choice.
that the game is still going to be enjoyable, and you'll be rewarded for leaning into the choices that you make.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That's very intriguing. I will trust you. And I'm going to yell at you if I make a very bad choice and at the end everyone dies because of me. I'm going to be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Very exciting. And, you know, because it is a vampire story, I have to ask, were you big on vampires growing up? Because I think it's kind of like, isn't it like the categories of like, it's either like demons and vampires or zombies, or, you know, there's always this kind of a niche thing that everyone a little bit lean forward of like, oh,
yeah. I don't think I was particularly into vampires over anything else when I was younger. I definitely enjoyed the Blade films much younger than I should have done. But yeah, I think other than that, off the top of my head, no.
Fair,
not particularly.
Fair. But now you're a vampire, so you know. You join
now
the
I'm
club.
A vampire, so I know. Yeah.
Easy peasy. And, of course, we cannot go anywhere without talking about the new James Bond game, which you are also part of. And it just came out recently. I keep hearing the greatest things about it. It's really fun. It's really enjoyable. I myself haven't had the chance to play it just yet.
Neither have I yet, but... It's on my list. It's on my list.
Exactly. There's too many games at this point. I'm like, which is great. Don't stop, please, studios. We love these games, but like, oh my God, when will you have the time? But how was that experience like working on what seems to be a pretty massive project, because I just saw the list of like people who just did the acting part, and I was like, wow,
so many people involved. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that it's bizarre that I'm on a credits list with Lenny Kravitz. It was really good fun. I feel like my part in it was very, very small. I'm very lucky to have kind of got even a named character in when there are so many other people in there who I know have done like loads and loads of work. But it was a fun little kind of bit to work on, kind of being part of the people back at MI6 and sort of commenting on what's gone on in the missions. And yeah, it was really fun. Really fun. And Adrian, the director on that, is also another wonderful, wonderful director and made it very, very easy to do my job well.
And were you a James Bond fan before joining this project?
I think I was more of a James Bond fan than I was a vampire fan. So
I get that. And what did you think about, because was this motion capture?
No, that job wasn't. Well, there was motion capture done on the job, but that particular character wasn't required.
Okay.
So.
What was your first motion capture experience?
The first motion capture experience I had was working on Baldur's Gate 3, and that was full body mocap, and it was quite funny. The character I play is the god of bards, and he has a lute. And my lute in the studio was a tennis racket that they'd taken the strings off and wrapped with gaffer tape. And I think they regretted that immediately, because every single take we had to be like, oh, can you do that again? The tennis racket got in the way of Will's hand and it jumped in front of his face. And it's just... So a bit of a nightmare from that perspective, but it was a really fun experience otherwise. Yeah. And I've not done a huge amount of motion capture since then. I did a fair bit for a project that got cancelled, but then I've mostly done performance capture since then. So just the facial animation stuff.
Is it easier when you can actually be on the set and motion capture, performance capture your character, or do you find that the booth is nice and comfy and it's all good that way?
I think it mostly doesn't get in the way. I think I move quite a lot when I'm in the booth anyway, recording stuff for my own purposes. Sometimes when there's some things you have to do when you're doing performance capture, well, depends on the style, but sometimes you have to kind of return your face to a neutral position after you've said a line so that they can match up where the dots end up. So sometimes you have to remember to do something like that. But otherwise, my face and body are sort of as expressive as they're going to be, even when there's not a camera or a performance capture headset on. And when there is, then they get more data. So, yeah.
It's always interesting because I think it just started to pick up that the industry is finally realizing that the actors who work on games are just as valid as anyone else in other parts of the entertainment. Have you seen the effects of that in your life? Of do you feel like it's more of a, okay, this is the same as going on stage or going in front of the camera?
A little bit. I think it's, I mean, in terms of the industry, everyone you meet knows that that's the case anyway. So there's not a change on that side. But, when it comes to meeting, when I meet my distant relatives and they say, what do you do for a job? And I say, oh, I'm a voice actor in games. And it means something to them now, which I think 20 years ago, they'd have gone, what games? The thing that children play, and because of the amount of press that goes out about it, and people talking about it, and the fact that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and all of that just helps. I wasn't in doubt that I was in a valid career, but sometimes it's sometimes you don't want to explain that to everyone, and I'm not having to do that nearly as much anymore.
That's a fair point, because it's really nice to see, especially at Comic-Cons, that actors who mainly do games or animation are now having the same lines as actors who popped up from the TV or movies. And I think it's because for me, for a very long time, I was already very much into the art of voice acting and doing games, especially Mass Effect was my big one, where I was like, this is amazing. I love it so much. Like, who are these people? I want to do everything about them. And it's nice to see that it's getting, more attention. And I always wonder whenever I talk to someone, did you have your first Comic-Con experience at this point?
Not as a celebrity, in inverted commas. I've been now to a couple just as a punter to sort of see what it's like. It's always something that when I was younger, if I'd realized it was something I could actually go and do again, it didn't seem like a world that, was available to me. I probably would have gone and probably would have really enjoyed it. And I see that every time I walk into every time I walk into a Comic-Con and like just see everyone there, and you see kids there with their parents, and their parents have dressed up in the costume for them. And I'm like, this is such a lovely, affirming space to be. And like I think about how it would have been for me as a kid if someone had taken me by the hand and be like, yes, yeah, no, of course we'll dress up like that and we'll go along to this thing, and you can meet the actors who did that, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to hopefully doing them in future and being able to give that feeling to the next generation of people, or just anyone who wants it.
Exactly. And I mean, for me, at least, it seems like that Blood of the Dawnwalker might be that stepping stone for you.
I hope so. It would be nice to if I weren't in the game, I think I'd be really interested in this game. I think it's got all the hallmarks of things that I like. So I really hope it does well, and it would be lovely to ride on the back of that success.
100%. There's no need to be shy about that. Like, it's I think it's completely fine, and I'm interested to hear your opinion about this, but it's completely fine to imagine a little bit of like, what would you like to get from this in the future? Like, if you say it would be nice to go to Comic-Cons thanks to your game, or, for me, it would be nice to go at Comic-Cons and be the one who has the people at the panels of like doing the interviews. That's kind of my hope. So, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
having that,
it's good to have aspirations. Yeah,
to where to go. And since we're talking about aspirations, is there something that you really, really want to do and you just didn't get the chance yet to get into? Maybe a specific role, maybe a specific type of game. Is there something out there that's like, oh, I really want to do this?
Oh, well, actually, having said that I wasn't that into vampires, I did... one of the games I played a hell of a lot of on the GameCube was Blood Omen 2. So if they're remaking and redoing voices of a Legacy of Kain game, I'd be first in line, I hope. So that's one. Is there any other sort of franchises or bigger roles that I feel like I would lose my mind slightly? So I'm looking around me for inspiration. I've been really lucky. I've done some really fantastic things already. Like one of the first bigger roles I played was in a game called Eiyuden Chronicle, which is a kind of spiritual successor to the Suikoden series. And it's the kind of game that, again, I played a lot of when I was a kid. Those sort of JRPGs on my Game Boy Advance, just sunk hours and hours and hours into. I love working on those kinds of games. I would happily, spend even more time, delving into another one of those franchises. I've been lucky enough to be involved with like some fantastic franchises already. But yeah, I just really love my job. So literally anything, whether it's like we said at the start, being shot at lots, or getting to do some really emotional stuff, or really wacky stuff in the middle. Yeah.
Wacky stuff can be really fun, let's be fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be really, really fun. And this is one of my favorite questions. It's always interesting to see how people think about this. If you could sit down with your younger self, how would you tell him what you're doing now? Would he believe you? That's the other thing. Like, if you were like, hey, I'm doing voice acting for games.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. I would have, first of all, have to explain that, you know, those voices in the games that you're playing, you know, that's not just, you know, that's somebody's job. Somebody's doing that. So, you know, when you're playing your whatever it is, or watching, you know, Dragon Ball Z, like those people, that's those people's jobs, and that's what you're doing now. And that's, yeah.
It'd be quite a conversation, I imagine.
It would be quite the conversation, I think. Yeah.
And if you could, this is also, I really like these type of questions. If you could sit down with Korn, for example, from Blood of the Dawnwalker, what would that conversation look like? Do you think it would be like a nice big conversation about life and all things around it, or how would that go down? Let's say I'm get kicked out of this chair and it's Korn who's doing the interview.
That's such an interesting question. Well, if he were in the room with me, first of all, I'd hope that he'd eaten first. But secondly, I think I'd probably give him a hug. He might he might need it.
Are you telling me that Korn is like a sad boy that every girl loves?
I couldn't possibly say. People will have to find out for themselves. But I'd give him a hug.
We'll take that as a yes. I think we're getting into that part of the world, and the industry is starting to understand that. But we really like sad boys. It's just a general thing of like, you know, the more broken they are, the more we're gonna love them.
Yeah.
All right, we arrived to the other fun part of the conversation, which is the game. It's the fast fire round. It's very easy. I'm going to ask you questions, and you have to answer with one word, unless, you know, it is otherwise implied because it's, I don't know, a title or a name or whatever. And that's it. No explanation, just quick. Favorite RPG of all time?
Breath of Fire 2.
Favorite vampire story of all time?
The Blood of Dawnwalker.
Character you'd love to play one day?
Kane.
Fan. Okay. One word that describes Korn?
Deeper.
Interesting. One word that describes Blood of Dawnwalker?
Ooh, dark.
A game performance that inspired you?
Not a game, but
okay.
Mark Hamill. Just in general.
Yes, he's the best. I love Mark so much. Okay, game that inspired you?
Tales of Vesperia.
A movie that inspired you?
It's either Chef or the Royal Tenenbaums, and I can't pick between the two.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Sword or magic?
Magic.
Human or vampire?
Human.
Cats or dogs?
Cat.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Streaming or cinema?
Cinema.
Cinema or theater?
Theater.
Theater or concert?
Theater.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah.
I think we nailed it. All right, fantastic. And my favorite part, I'm ready for the dad joke that you prepared.
Okay. I asked my Spanish carpet layer what the secret was to getting his job done quickly. And he said, "Ándale, ándale."
It's good. That's good. We found quite similar ones, because mine is, how much do roofs cost? Nothing. They're on the house.
Yeah.
Come on, you got to.
I think, funnily enough, I told my one of my good friends the joke that I've just told, and his response was almost an identical joke to the one that you've just told. So,
really?
Yeah.
There you go.
There's something in the air. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Something about buildings and.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. And before I let you go, there's one more question left, and in this podcast, we are well aware that there are NDAs in the works. We know that Blood of Dawnwalker is going out in September. now I know as well. Probably going to remember it finally. But is there something else that people can look forward to and you're going to be in it?
The one that I can definitely talk about is the Expanse game being made by the team at Alcat, which is coming out sometime next year. I'm playing one of the companions in that, so that's something that people can look forward to. I feel like there's something else, but I'm just going to imagine that I can't talk about it. So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm gonna now retcon myself and what I said. That was not the last question, because now that you mentioned the Expanse, I'm like, oh God damn it! I even wrote it up. I just sometimes just look through things. There are two very important questions when it comes to the Expanse. Is that, did you read the books and did you watch the series?
I have done neither, but some of my fans have bought me the first book in the series in an effort to get me to read basically anything. We have a bit of a joke on my stream, which is that Wednesday, when I tend to stream, is my day off, so I don't do any recording work. And because I read for a living, I will tend to skip through a lot of dialogue, which causes people some distress. And so people have taken to sending me books and things. And so when I announced that I was in the Expanse, that they very kindly sent me that first book. So I am going to read that, and I have plans to watch the series, but also there's a lot of recording to get done in the next year. I might not get around to watching all of it, but I've heard very, very good things.
I haven't finished the books, but simply because I am so tired of books being multiple. Like, like there's an 8th one, there's a 9th one, and you're like, just give me one and then we're good. And then I always end up reading trilogies and quadrilogies and whatever. So I was like, but The Expanse was something that I really enjoyed, and they are great books. So I highly recommend you start on it when you have the time. But they are long.
Yes.
So I can understand some hesitation there of like, when do I pick this up? And what can you tell us about your character in the Expanse? We know that you're going to be a companion there. What else can you say about that character?
He's a mercenary.
Okay.
Or I think potentially ex-mercenary, but I can't remember off the top of my head. He's very pragmatic. I think eventually likable, but might be a bit prickly at first. And I swear I'm not just describing myself.
But those are the best type of characters. Like, I think in anything, where you at first, oh, this, and then suddenly, they're actually cool. Hey, nice. Great. All right. So there are many things happening for you, which is great. And I think we have to talk again when you can actually talk about the things that you've done, like Blood of the Dawnwalker and the Expanse and whatnot. So I will definitely reach out again. And the very last thing is, please tell our lovely followers, where can they find you? Where can they follow you and keep updated on what you're up to?
Absolutely. I am at Will Voice It on, I think, every platform, other than maybe Blue Sky, when I'm at willvoice.it. So, yeah, if you'd like to follow along and join me on this journey.
Yes, I'm going to put everything in the description so you guys can follow Will and his journey in the gaming world. And it became a kind of a trend since yesterday. So it's a very recent thing. But then I request that you say goodbye to our lovely listeners and watchers as one of your characters, whoever you want to be.
Okay, I'm going to go for Marajai from Warhammer 40,000, because it's probably the most distinctive voice. Goodbye, monkey.
There you have it. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for joining. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you are looking forward to the next one. I can promise you that there will be even more amazing guests coming on, and I just can't wait to share that with you. And just to make sure that you don't miss out on anything, please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notifications, and like and comment stay in the loop, stay with me. And there are other things coming, are already on the way. We'll find out soon. See you again next time.